Greetings and salutations, YouTube. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. We know this is a well anticipated program, and we are here to give you the information that you need and to facilitate a very uplifting and edifying conversation. With me here again for the second time, we have Brother Mark Robinson. Brother
Greetings,
Mark, greetings, sir. Greetings. How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. Doing all right.
Awesome. We,
And
we we
yourself?
we had a very good chat last week, and our viewers are anticipating more great information this week. We could not afford to disappoint, so we had to make sure we are back here on this
Right.
live today. Let me, before we even start, I just want to highlight one of our viewers that was on last week. She was on 1 hour early, and
Oh wow.
she was commenting. She said, already know this will be good. To give myself a chance, thank you so much for your very early comment. You were
Oh, wonderful.
anticipating, you were already waiting on us for over an hour. Thank you so very much for staying tuned. For those of you who are just watching for the first time, we invite you to sit tight, relax, turn your volume up, pay attention, grab a notepad if you want to, take some notes, subscribe, like, and share because this is going to be very edifying for you. So, today, Brother Mark, you told me you wanted to talk about the cells.
Yes,
The
sir.
cells in the body, the importance of cells, the function of cells, and how that might benefit us if we know properly how to nourish ourselves and rid ourselves from any kind of parasites that
Correct.
might be attacking us. So right
Correct.
about now, I'm just gonna get out of the way and I'm just gonna hand over to you and you just do your thing.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so greetings once again. This is Brother Mark. Come to you in our beloved name of Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And I'm grateful by him allowing me to attain some knowledge, as I say, certain knowledge, to try to help people who are seeking answers in reference to their well being. Um, so, today's topic that we want to get in some in depth understanding, and that will be about your cells. Your cells. And a lot of people don't understand how the body functions, how the body carry out orders in everything in life. And in order to be effective in it, you got to have proper communication. Proper communication. So I want you to keep that in mind as the main thing, proper communication and everything. So, what is cells? Okay. What is cells? The simple form about cells in medical world, scientific world, they called it the building blocks of the body. The building blocks of the body. Keep that in mind. Where are cells located at? Where are they located at? Now, if you start to get familiar with me, I teach by God's mercy, healing is both spiritually and naturally. Both spiritually and naturally. In the book of Leviticus, scripture talks about, and I want everybody to listen closely, the life of all flesh lieth. I want you to pay attention to a word that everybody overlooks that don't see it. They overlook that don't see it. It says the life of all flesh lieth in the blood. In the blood. And what I want you to focus on is I in. And one have to ask themselves, what is in my blood that gives life? Get it? Gives life. And what's in the blood is what is known to us as oxygen or spirit And also what lies in the blood is water. And also what lies in the blood, aka living cells. Living cells. Okay. So living cells is what's in our body that feeds our body. They are utilized by the body to feed the body. Phytonutrients, macronutrients, and micronutrients. Okay. Now, when everybody is born, that plasma, the sperm, and the egg, yeah, God takes that, the sperm, and unites it to the egg. And over a process of time, look how I'm doing. Over a process of time, body starts to be created as a clay. Body's like clay. It starts to be created. But what's giving it life is oxygen, spirit. So as the process of time starts to develop, living cells starts to carry out orders, Now, pertaining to sickness, we have to maintain our body, we have to maintain our blood, and we have to maintain the body structure of the living cells. At any time the living cells in our body comes disturbed or invaded, you get it, say disturbed or invaded, that's when what they call free radicals or toxins start to enter into cells and start to break it down. Okay. So I don't want to overlook anything. So I'm going to take my time with this. And by taking my time, you get a better understanding. All right. You get a better understanding of things. All right. So give me a moment here. So they have like three components, main components of the nucleus of your cell. You have the nucleus, you have cell membrane, and you have the cytoplasma. These cells help develop what is known to us as RNA. Majority of that makes up RNA. And then you have the balance of opposite of RNA is DNA. This is your structure, the inside structure of your blood. Okay. Now, with that being said, reason why it's called cells, because it creates, look at my hands, it creates cohesiveness. All right. It pulls the body together and keep things tight. Scripture calls it, get out of here. My little cat. Scripture calls it sinews. All right. Another word for sinews means tendon. That is the tissue structure. Okay. The tissue structure that pulls together. How is it pulling together? It's pulling together by living cells. Say hi, bless. It's pulling together by living cells. So when these living cells establish the cohesiveness, the one cell starts to manufacture, and it starts to multiply. I want you to listen closely. From one cell, another word for cell is called atom. ADAM. Atom, cell. I want you to focus how I'm going to do this. Then what cohesiveness is, other living cells come out of the one cell. Just like Eve came out of Adam, I want to explain it where people can get it. Out of the cell came Eve. Out of Adam came Eve. You get it? So it starts to multiply. It starts to replicate and starts to form a body, starts to form, quote unquote, human family. In other words, your body has many members. So from one cell or one atom, the body is created. And from Adam, Eve, or another cell, that cohesiveness, male female, male, female starts to develop and starts to give life to your body, my body, and everybody's body. Now, when it goes through that cycle, okay, the body's getting fed. Look at a woman feeding the child or children in the body. So what it takes in, what she takes in is feeding and help develop the cells, develop the body. Now, with this being said, cells start to create, they start to multiply, and they multiply by the numbers. There's over 1 trillion cells in your body, 1 trillion cells in your body, and your cells have multiple, listen, multiple functions or multiple communications or multiple jobs to do with inside your body. I want you to pay attention. So with this being said, the body, let's say the body's developed now. So now you're dealing with digestion. I know in the past, people say digestion begins with your mouth. Digestion begins with your mouth. No, digestion begins with your decision, with the mind. What type of food that you're going to eat. So you make your decision of what you want to eat, okay? And then what happens is food goes through a digestion process. Digestion process. So you're taking one form of flesh, taking one form of liquids, fluids, or blood. I'm glad you put that up. All right, sorry. So what are those forms that we're allowed to eat? God allowed us to eat herbs that bear seeds, fruits that bear seeds, okay? And then he allowed us to eat animal meats, okay? All of those are different forms of flesh, okay? Fruits have a form of flesh with fluids, other words, aka blood form, but we call it juice. Herbs has a different texture of flesh, but depending on what type of herbs you get it, you can receive fluids or blood from it as well. They call it juice. I just want people to understand this, because you ever heard the saying, it takes fire to fight fire? You understand? To order to cleanse your blood, you need somebody else's blood. Get it? It's like a blood transfusion, but the natural way, we get it through foods that we eat, okay? Now, it has been said that fruits have its own RNA and DNA. So when it's talking about RNA and DNA, it's referring to your blood. It's talking about your blood, what's inside it, living cells. Now, another way of looking at living cells is living organisms. And don't be scared now, because there are good living organisms and there are bad living organisms. Remember, good living organisms and bad living organisms. Another way of saying it, good bacteria, bad bacteria, but it's still cells. Now, what you eat, what you digest and drink, and the environment can affect your living cells. So you can build up your living cells and you can deteriorate your living cells based on what you eat, digest, whether it's food or liquid or the environment, chemicals in the environment, or if you have clean air. So I want to stay on point, and I want people to understand what's going on. And I'm going to read this for you so you can understand. And it's dealing with what are the functions that your cells do. So your small intestines, I talked about this on, I think, on the previous slide. Your small intestines is the feeding tube for the body. The small intestines, when it goes through the digestive system, it breaks everything down to glucose. When it breaks everything down to glucose from your small intestines, it pushes it to the cells. And your cells migrate throughout all of your body, throughout all your body, and feed the body through glucose. This is why people say everything breaks down to glucose. So depending on what type of foods you're feeding the body, it can be good, aiding in good, or it can be aiding in bad. Aiding in good, or it can be aiding in bad. And you have to understand that. So when anything we talked about before, fake foods, chemical foods, and when you eat fake foods or chemical foods, it alters your body. What is altering? Primarily your living cells in the body. So you ever heard autoimmune disease? Autoimmune, in other words, the body is on autopilot going against itself. Let's go to the intercellular part of that. When your body process these fake foods, now their living cells, instead of aiding you or helping you, start working against the body and start spreading toxins. All right, start spreading toxins. Now, your living cells, living organisms in your bodies, in your bloodstream, is responsible for feeding the brain. It's responsible for feeding the liver, responsible for feeding the kidneys, responsible for aiding or setting up the structure of your digestive system. It is responsible for building up the structure of your bones, sinews, and flesh or tissue. It's responsible for these things. Okay. So now, with that being said, just as those living cells have a job to do with the function of your organs to feed the body, these same living cells has a process of going throughout the body, through the bloodstream, and dumping the waste that is released or cast off from the body. So your regular source body, okay, you poop, what you see is urine, okay, what you poop, and what you see is when you do a number two, when you defecate and do a number two. So that's the visuals that you see, okay. But these living cells digest, bring that down. What is important? The feeding the body. Now it has to go through a process of eliminating waste. Okay, you have to eliminate the waste. All right. So with that being said, eliminating waste. What is the type of waste? And I want everybody to focus. What is the type of waste that the living cells that's in your blood has the job to eliminate? I'm going to read something for you. Okay. Give me a moment and I'll read. Okay. It says, as the blood circulates around the body. So what's in the blood? Living cells. Okay. It says fluids leaks out of the blood vessels into the body's tissues. This fluids carries food to the cells and bathes the body's tissue to form tissue fluids. The fluids then collects waste products. What is this fluid? And I'm going to tell you what it is. This fluids then collects waste products. What is it? Bacteria and damaged cells, and also the C word. And it also collects any cancer cells if these are present. What is this fluids that your living cells help push into these fluids? It's called the lymphatic system. Lymphatic system. So whenever the body is damaged, your living cells work inside the river. Listen closely. The river or the blood of your body, and it carries good nutrients to the body, and then in the fluids it searches out waste that has to be properly eliminated from the body. So it puts it in the sewage system aka the lymphatic system, to take out bacteria, take out um, bacteria, take out dead cells or damaged cells, and cancer cells. Pay attention. Just listen what I'm doing here. So, with that being said, with that being said, how are you damaging your body? Dealing in reference with living cells, okay? Dealing with living cells, okay? So, how do we damage our body? First, in order to understand what is damage your body, you got to understand what is entering your living cells. Listen closely, and I'm going to make you think. Another way of looking at cells is something that can open, close, open to release, close to lock, or to bind in, or to keep in. Now, in order to open, one must have a key. Have a key. All right. Because food is another way of saying knowledge. Food for thought, knowledge. So we receive nutrition in the form of communication to the cells. So you can open up a cell with the original or the master key, or you can break an entrance. I want you to listen close. Break an entrance. Scripture says, if you get in any other way, what do it say? You a thief and a robber. Thief and a robber. So the cell membrane structure and the plasma and the nucleus, when it is penetrated wrongfully, it starts to cause cell death, or it makes the cell start to act abnormal. Now, what penetrates our cells to cause damage? That's the question. So you have processed or synthetic sugars. One, you have fake vinegar. Fake vinegar.
All right, hold on now. Hold on now. You just said synthetic sugar
Yes.
because
Yes.
practically everything that we eat these days is
Mm-hmm.
sweet. And then
Correct.
I keep wondering why I'm tasting something that's extremely sweet, but on
Mm-hmm.
the packaging it says zero sugar.
Okay.
So if it doesn't have sugar, it has something else that makes it sweet. Is that what you're referring to as synthetic sugar?
Synthetic sugars, when they process the sugar cane from its original state and put an additive to it, now it becomes an isolate and it becomes fake. So what happens is whenever they make synthetic sugars, it's more sweeter than the sugar cane or the original sugar. So what happens to the body becomes an addict. When it gets its first hit, the body becomes an addict and it fiends for it more. So what happens, the cells, remember, they are in the bloodstream, they're in the blood. It has to be saturated. So what happens is those synthetic sugars and the other stuff I'm gonna get into, what it does, it starts to dehydrate, dry out your living organism or your cells, and now they can't function or receive the signal. What is that signal? When it's coming from the pituitary gland, the thymus gland to function, the brain sends those communication transactions. I'm gonna make it simple, transactions in the body through your hormones. Your hormones or your endocrine system releases this
Yeah.
through your living cells. So what you just put up, what you about to bring up, like
Mhm.
Splendor, is a fake sugar. Okay. White sugar or the powdered sugar is fake. In your mustard, ketchup, if you ain't do it yourself, has these fake sugars.
Mhm.
Okay. Now you have stuff like complex carbohydrates, which
Hmm.
are your snacks. They are sugars too. The number one thing that makes people swell up or get fat is potato chips.
Say
Why?
what?
Yes, potato chips. Why is it potato chips? I'm gonna show you the oil that they primarily cook it. I don't use this, but I'm gonna show you something. This oil, vegetable oil. So when they cook it in vegetable oil or synthetic canola oil or synthetic sunflower oil or synthetic peanut oil, it alters the potato. And when it causes the potato is not only starch, but now it has another compound coming to it, which is a synthetic sugar. And the body can't process it or break down. So what happens is the liver becomes overwhelmed, it swells up, and when the liver compacts and swells up, it's transferred to the front of the body and it creates what a lot of people don't want. It's called a belly.
The belly fat.
Right, right. Called a belly.
So a lot of us would want to, go on the treadmill, do some exercise to get rid of the belly fat, but then we're not addressing the diet that caused it in the first place.
Okay. So what happens when the body becomes stressed? Let's deal with that. When the body becomes stressed, it releases cortisol levels. It's coming from the adrenal glands and the pancreas to try to buffer the pain the body's coming in. So the sugar levels goes up. And so now the body is in survival mode. It becomes
Mm-hmm.
more stress until you bring down the cortisol levels. That is not just a woman's thing. That's also a man thing. So
Yeah.
what happens is instead of your living cells be living, now it starts to die out. So just imagine you have over 1 trillion cells in the body, and you need all of them to function, right? So when you start to saturate it with something that is chemical, something synthetic, you starting to kill off those important cells. So instead of you having the trillion or over 1.5 trillion, now you're dealing with 1 million. And now that body doesn't have enough soldiers or enough living cells to deal with other functions in the body. So now the body starts to suffocate. Those cells starts to drown. You get what I'm saying? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
lack of what? Oxygen. That's one of the functions that living cells take in. Oxygen. All right.
If I
Now,
can ask you, another question before you move on,
go
because
ahead.
I remember during the COVID-19
Mm-hmm.
pandemic when we were under that lockdown,
Yes.
I did a course in physical exercise and so on and dieting.
Yeah.
And one of the information I received was, as you mentioned earlier, this starvation mode that the body goes into.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm told that if persons don't drink enough water and you don't take in enough nutrients in your food, having a balanced diet, so you have the right amount of calories, right amount of protein, and the different food groups, you starve yourself by not eating on time and not eating the right proportions,
Okay.
thinking that you're trying to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
But then your body goes into this overdrive of dehydration and just general starvation. And now when you finally have a meal,
Right.
maybe in the evening, in the night, your body goes into this preservation mode to say, okay, I haven't been having any food all day, and every day for the past 3 weeks I'm getting food on and off when you feel like, not the right kind of food. I'm not
Uh-huh.
getting enough water, so I'm in starvation. It's like, hey, it's survival mode. I'm in Africa, some remote area. We can't find anything to eat, so anything I get, I'm
Right.
gonna hold on to it. And so what I'm told is we go into starvation mode. We eat a little bit of food thinking that we're on some kind of diet to lose weight. But
Right.
people are doing this and are gaining weight instead of losing weight.
Right.
Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Where just starving yourself to lose weight is not effective.
Um, that's like a form of called an anorexic, where the body, you're eating something, but you're working backwards to throw it up to get it out of your system. So by starving the body, you can become large as well because the body thinks it's not going to be fed properly. So it holds on to things. I heard many people say, I really don't eat that much, but they're still overweight and everything. But you're not giving your body something that is alive, what they call live foods. What makes food alive or beneficial for you is called AKA electrolytes. That is what's missing primarily from the water that we drink.
Say
Okay.
what?
Yes. The reason why I say that, and anybody can do this test, go to your local market. Don't get a particular spring water. Just go and get your local spring water from the store if you live in America or abroad. Just go and drink it and wait a while. If your water makes that you just drink make your mouth dry, you have a chemical in it that's designed to make you thirsty, and it makes you over drink, and it dehydrates you. Water does not dehydrate you. Real water is supposed to hydrate your cells, because that's one of the things that penetrates your cells is water.
So
So
this old time. Well, in Jamaica, we have real spring water that
that's good.
flows from the earth, and it beats upon the rocks and all of that, and gets
Correct.
the right chemicals. But now you're talking about water that has been run through another filtering, artificial
Yes,
purifying system, and then they add certain chemicals in it which you don't see with the naked eye because it
that
still
is
looks
correct.
clear,
Right.
but it has another effect on the body. You're saying.
Yes. And that's the thing in reference with water. Yes, spring water is good, people getting it from the spring, but you also should clean it. I'm going to tell you why. Living organisms in your water.
Oh, and this is where the
You
parasites come in
understand?
at.
Yes. You're supposed to filter it too. Like it's good to take a little like some water from the spring and put a little pinch of salt to it. Let me see if I can show you a salt that we use over here. All right. Oh, here you go. If you can see this, this says real salt. All right.
Mhm.
A lot of people are familiar with Baja, Baja, Baja salt or Celtic salt. Well, salt acts as a cleaner, but salt is
Yeah, and we
good.
know that from the Bible because the Bible says
Right.
salt is good.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
So, what people would do, they would add a little of the salt instead of drinking that spring water right away. They would let the salt filter it through it to cleanse it. Another way to do it, let me work with it. Another way to do it is you can take moringa seeds, drop
Ah,
it in the water.
yes. I love that thing. You know what?
Yes.
I chew on the moringa seeds and it tastes a little bitterish,
Yes.
sweetish. But
Right.
then when I drink water right after that, it feels
Uh,
like I don't need to have no juice after that.
correct.
It
Correct.
it tastes like I'm drinking juice.
Okay. So the thing is, the moringa is like taking a natural vitamin. So it puts beneficial factors into your water when you just drop the seeds in there, put it away or set it aside and give it a certain amount of hours. It will put the nutrients into the water that the body's missing. Okay. In America or in the states or the inner cities, most of the people are dehydrated. They're missing a lot of electrolytes, and they're missing that salt that the body needs to feed it and give structure or building block structure to your cells that life in the blood. So this is why you will hear herbalists say it's better to eat fruits because it hydrates you. One of the best
Hmm.
fruits to hydrate the body, hydrate your cells, is watermelons. Eating watermelons, it will give you enough water because I believe it's about 92% of a watermelon is water, straight water.
Okay.
But the electrolyte the main mineral that is needed is potassium. That's what most people body is missing, potassium, and the other one is magnesium, and the other one, which is very important, is called zinc. Because I'm gonna get back to the cells. Get back to
Yeah.
the
By the
cells.
way, you mentioned something about artificial sweeteners. Just to make sure we conclude that conversation,
Go ahead.
let me throw in a question here. So normally when you go to the hotels, you see some sweeteners uh, given to you. I'm trying to get one of them on the screen. Bear with me a while. There we go. So um, we see some of these in the
Mm-hmm.
hotels. There are many different brands, of course, but
Right.
some of them say no sugar, zero sugar.
Uh-huh.
Then they are sweet. Persons who are diabetic and so on would tend to go for those sweeteners that are not sugar.
Right.
Is it okay to just have a lot of sweeteners just because it says no sugar, but I can have a lot of it anyway? What's the difference? And for regular people who are not diabetic, should we be so scared of diabetes that we avoid real sugar and use these artificial sweeteners?
Well, let me say this. I'll teach you how my teacher taught me. At some point in time, we will experience diabetes, meaning our sugar levels go up. Doesn't mean that we're diabetic. You get what I'm saying? We just experience too much sugar in our system. So we need to manage it to bring down the sugar levels. Now, these sugars are all synthetic, all of them, and sugar penetrates the cells. So when people go out and they be like, "Oh, I want something sweet," and they may say, "Well, do you have some sugar or something like that?" And they will get it. It's like, "Well," and they'll be like, "Well, do you have a sugar substitute?" Sugar substitute, other words, a sugar knockoff.
Mm,
You know, it's not the real; it's a knockoff. Well, any sugar knockoff that's not real is synthetic, and it's going to damage you. So a lot of times people think because their sugar levels didn't spike right away, you get what I'm saying? They
mm-hmm.
think it's effective for them. You got some people cook with Splendor and the fake sugars. They bake cakes and all that. But after a while, it starts to migrate and get to your cells and cause cell damage. One of the best sweeteners that helps your living cells in your body, guess what that is? It's called honey. Honey helps repair your living cells.
Absolutely, because now I'm thinking about it. I mean, it's nature, right?
Right.
And the things that are produced by nature, more often than not, are good for us, as
Correct.
as opposed to the synthetically produced stuff. So I mean, the bees and all that, the wisdom that God has given them, they
Mm-hmm.
make this honey. It not just has the sugary part of it, but I'm told honey is very nutritious with other minerals and vitamins and so on, vitamin C even.
Okay. This playing out well because I just bought some stuff. I'm gonna help people, Lord, as well. This playing out very well. So the thing is, when they talk about stay away from sugar, stay away from sugar, they're talking about synthetic sugars. When they're saying sugar is okay, they talk about that which is natural, that which the body recognize. It recognize it. Okay. So think about when the body experiences cell damage or living cells damage for any type of chemical, or whether it's processed sugar, whatever it's synthetic vinegar, whether it's alcohol, all of these things penetrate the cells. Okay. The other thing that penetrates the cells, which is a mineral called zinc, zinc helps repair the cells because it deals with getting rid of bacteria and virus. I'm
Hmm.
pausing. Zinc gets rid of virus out of the cell. Keep that in mind. Okay. Then the other thing that we invite through poor eating or not proper maintenance. Let me say that. Not proper maintenance, meaning cleanse yourself, is parasites. Parasites. Parasites have the ability to penetrate and get into our living cells and take it over. It's called intercellular parasite. I'll repeat, it's called intercellular parasite. Okay, so where's this parasite coming from? It's coming out of the food that we eat. So if we eat meats, it's supposed to be what? Well done. When we eat fruits or herbs, is known to us, we have to clean them to get rid of the potential parasites. Okay, so as you see, my brother got up on the screen, it's called intercellular parasites. They have the ability to penetrate your cells and make it a host. And a lot of people don't understand that. So I'll read it. Intercellular parasites are microparasites that are capable of growing and reproducing inside the cell of a host. They are also called intercellular pathogens. So when people talk about viruses, when people talk about pathogens, when people talk about infections, all of these things can penetrate your living cells and cause cell damage. Now, what are the one of the ways you know you're having cell damage or something chemical is breaking inside your cells and causing an effect? Well, I want you to listen closely. When the cells are infected, you have a banana type effect. Listen closely. I want to explain this so people can grasp this. You have a banana type effect. When you get a banana off the tree after development, it's green. It's developed, but it's not ripe. Get it? It's not ripe. So when the banana, when it rests, settles, it goes through a browning process, melatonin or melanin. It goes through that type of process. And what happens is the cells go from stable to starting collecting bacteria or browning. So what happens, what is the browning effect? Or what is the outbreak of the effect of a cell receiving damage? What happens is the skin, which is the third kidney, the skin starts to have outbreaks, and you will start seeing clumps, bumps, what looks like bumps on your skin. That is an infection from a parasite. Now, when the body or the cells had too much synthetic sugar or it's too much synthetic acid, that's another thing that penetrates the cells. What happens is you get bumps on your face. All right. I'm taught whenever you have a skin outbreak, always do a parasite cleanse. Always. And I notice when people cleanse themselves through a parasite, whatever skin conditions that they have, it will start to subside. Okay. So your cells is what's in the blood. It feeds the body and it takes out the waste and push it over to the lymphatic system. When people talk about RNA, DNA, all that is referring to your blood cells. Okay, your blood cells. So now within the body, you have red blood cells, okay, and you have T and B blood cells. T and B blood cells. Let's talk about it. So, what is the T cells? What is the T cells? The T cells are the cells that fights off all infections, all disturbance or infections or disease that's trying to develop in the body. T cells are developed by T cells are developed by the thymus gland. The thymus gland is like a teacher of the body, teaching different organs that's in the body to function. Okay, so the T cells works in cooperation with the bone marrow to formulate T cells, which is part of your white blood cells. Then you have what is called B cells. B cells, okay? B cells comes from the bone marrow primarily. They combine together to fight off infections, fight off disease. So whenever your T cells and B cells are too high in the body, it is dealing with it. Your body is dealing with the disease. That is one of the ways how doctors determine if you're fighting off an infection or you're fighting off a disease. It's because the T cells and the B cells, which are the components that make up white blood cells, when it's too high, it's fighting off a disease. Now, your red blood cells primarily come from your bone marrow. Your red blood cells deals with primary oxygen levels. Both have to be balanced. Both have to be balanced, okay? So now, when there's a disturbance, when a thief comes in the house and you're there, you have the power either to put them out yourselves or you make a phone call for authorities to come to your residence and put the thief out. But you try to put yourself in a safe place. What is that, putting yourself in a safe place while a thief is trying to rob you? Is stop taking in foods and drinks that is damaging your body. You stop off of those things and you start to feed your body that will help you get rid of those things that are killing you. So we got synthetic sugars, we got synthetic vinegar, we got cancerous type chemicals like RNA. Far as what I mean by RNA, the stuff that alters your RNA, like Red 40 and stuff like that. These things that they add to potato chips, Doritos, your complex protein bars. These are colorings. They're powder substance that's made in a laboratory that they put in your food. Now, I talked about things that penetrates your living cells. Now, in order to clean up, you have to understand what you got to take into the body to help the body beneficial to get its proper nutrients. So understand this. It takes a process of time to get your living cells to start functioning. All right. Once you listen closely, your T cells and B cells takes months to regenerate. In order to come into completion, it takes 7 to 10 years. But when you're dealing with damage to your cells to recuperate, it's going to take you weeks. Sometimes it could be 4 to 8 weeks to regenerate properly. So the scripture says herbs is for the service of man. Herbs is for the service of man. Let me show you a couple things that helps with. I just bought it yesterday, and I'm gonna show you something. Give me something. Let me see something. And they're both mentioned in the scriptures. Give me one moment, y'all. They're both mentioned in the scriptures. I'm gonna show you something. This I want you to look up for yourself. Don't just take my word. This right here is real cinnamon. It deals with RNA, DNA. Research this. Don't just take my word for it. This not only deals with sugar. Get it? Synthetic sugar. This takes sugar out the body or help balance the sugar levels. Cinnamon sticks deals with RNA, DNA. Look this up. Oh, this is in the Holy Scriptures. Guess what else? Black seed. It's in the scriptures as cumin. All right. Now, I talked about honey. I mentioned earlier how honey helps your, let me just throw up a honey. Honey helps white blood cells. That's what we're talking about. This helps red blood cells. This also deals with multiple dysfunctions or disease in the body. Look what I'm about to do. Put them together. See what I just said? This is the cinnamon seed, the black seeds, and this is raw honey. Put it together. Honey is supposed to come out slow. I'm gonna give y'all some insight. When you pour honey, it's supposed to come out slow, not fast. You get what I'm saying? Now, when you put these together, you're doing something for oxygen, red blood cells, and this deals with white T cells. Now, let me show you something, because I'm about to make some more. Take a jar, put your black seeds inside and pour the honey and stir it. When you stir it up, what happens? What happens? You'll see bubbles at the top of this mixture. You can do this yourself. You'll see the bubbles. Oxygen is being created. Listen closely what I'm saying. Oxygen is being created. So this is one of the things that you can do when a person's having trouble with low iron, poor oxygen. This is one of the things a person can do if their white blood cells, T cells and B cells not function, is just mixing cinnamon sticks and black seed. Both of these are mentioned in the scriptures, and they work together as a good primary binding agent. Put it together and will benefit your body. I had mentioned this to somebody and it helped them greatly. Now, what are the other things that messes with living cells and T cells? Because remember, the body has to eliminate waste, urine and pooping.
All right, brother Mark, I gotta put a little pause on this because this is some real good bellyful as usual, and I see a couple of questions in the chat, and
Okay.
we wanna get a couple of those questions as well.
No
So
problem.
we'll come back right after this break. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. All right, so brother Mark, someone was commenting in the chat that they drink smart water.
Okay.
Is smart water? I don't know. I don't know what smart water is.
Smart water is not smart.
Oh, it isn't.
No, it's not. Smart water is basically man-made water. In other words, it's purified or stripped down water, and then they add quote unquote so-called water to make it alkaline. When you are dealing with man-made alkalinity or alkaline water versus natural alkaline water, you can damage your gut, you can damage your stomach, and they get a lot of celebrities or whatever to advertise smart water, but it doesn't do no beneficial to your body. It actually damage your body, point blank. So I'm not sure, my beloved sister, you ever heard of Mountain Valley water? Depending on where you live at, there's a good company, spring water company called Mountain Valley water. That's pretty good. But the thing with anything that is packaged, and manufactured on a broad scope, you're going to deal with potential of hazard. I'm just telling you straight up. So the thing is, no matter what you do, focus on cleansing your organs and cleansing what's inside your blood, your living cells. But
I guess
natural
you've
spring
you've
water.
answered Sister Dawn's question as well because she had the same question. If
Oh, okay.
smart water is good.
Uh,
So Sister Starnisha says, I drink alkaline water. I mean, for my sake, I don't know. Regular water, alkaline water, what's the difference?
all right. Alkaline water is what they call raising the pH of the body. They call it potential hydrogen. Potential hydrogen. All right. Let's get an understanding what this craze of alkaline mean. Alkaline was created not too long ago. By a doctor. What he did was he tests the pH levels of certain foods. So what it was anything that's under a 7.2 was considered acid based products, whether it's water or foods. But anything water or foods that had a higher alkalinity, that was less acids going to the body or less destructiveness going to the body. So you will hear like herbalists, nutritionists, or holistic nutritionists, they will put a person what is known as an alkaline diet. Other words, they got that person on a diet where they are administering to themselves less acid-based foods. So what do I mean by that? Less acid-based foods. Come on, girl. She just want to be on the scene today. So less acid-based foods. Say yeah. So what is acids? Sugars that penetrate the cells. It makes the body become unstable. You get what I'm saying? So when they make alkaline water, listen what I just said. When they make alkaline water, meaning it's man-made, they put
I can't help but that cat. My phone's about to blow up now because there's Sister Brittany
uh-huh.
from St. Mary. She loves cats. So when
Oh
she
yeah.
see that cat, she's about to go crazy right now.
Well,
Anyways,
listen.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, these little loved ones that God made, you know they can sense when you're sick. That's one of
Oh
the
yeah.
reasons why I have a cat. And what happens is the cat will sense that you're sick and it will come up on you and lay on your chest and start vibrating, creating vibrations or AKA frequency, and they will buzz to try to heal you. That's what they do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
My
So
first time.
that's,
It's my first time hearing that because one thing I don't like about cats, they leave too much furs behind.
yeah, you gotta shave them, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta
especially
shave them.
when I have black clothes and they get on my fur,
Yeah.
get all that fur on my clothes. I'm about to be at church and
First,
they be picking off furs. You know what I'm saying?
I get that roller, bro. Roll that stuff off, man. All right, let me put you down. Come on. So yeah, she just want
That's a
attention.
segment there for all the
Oh,
cat
that's
lovers, all the cat lovers out there. The
right.
Mark is one of your good people for
Uh-huh.
cats.
Right.
I don't know. I grew up with cats, by the way, but
Okay.
I got tired of them after a while.
I
They could be in
understand.
the house to chase the rats away and stuff, no problem. But I
Yeah.
don't like them being furring up all my stuff.
So alkaline water
Yeah.
that the people are getting part of this craze is man-made. And I try to tell somebody before that's into health, I say you have to be careful with alkaline water when it's man-made. Normally on the bottle, it would say natural occurring alkaline water. That's fine. That means when they test the water and didn't put nothing to it, the pH level was at that height. But when
Hmm.
man started creating alkaline water and they raised the pH levels from an 8.2, 8.8, and then there's some that has 10.0, you keep drinking that on a consistent basis, it will rupture your stomach. That's why I'm
Mm.
telling people to be careful. And I'm telling the truth. So they be like, well, I'm doing this to change my pH, and do this and do that. Listen closely. Your blood by nature retains a pH balance little over 7.2, just a little over. It
Mhm.
keeps it that way to balance out what you're eating. Now, when it deals with different pHs concerning your body, it's talking organs.
Mhm.
So you have to find out what's the pH of your kidneys. This is how they measure things. So if you have an underactive kidneys, I'm just using an underactive kidney, that means the pH of the organs of your kidneys is low. So you have to cleanse it to give strength or bring up the pH levels to your
Mhm.
kidney.
Mhm.
Same
Mhm.
thing with your liver, same thing with other organs and stuff like that. Your organs, your blood, and your living cell and the lymphatic system works in unison to benefit the body and to get rid of toxins or chemicals out of the body. All right,
So
moving
another
on.
question, Sister Starnisha. She has another question. She says, Brother Mark, may I get your take on low iron? I've been sporadically intaking B12 and beet juice. Is there another option, preferably in tea form?
All right. That's all
That's
right.
like a four-part question.
All right. So she's you have an low iron problems. Okay. All right. You have to ask yourself because it's kind of tricky with a woman. So let me talk to my sisters. All right, listen. By nature, when you going into your cycles, when you develop and you go into cycle, by nature, you bleed out. So your iron levels will come low. This from natural cycle. But then when you are advised to take supplementation to build up your iron, okay, you got to ask yourself, if I'm taking a supplement to build up my iron and I'm taking 2 pills or whatever forms of pills that I'm taking, or whatever it's or in liquid form, ask the question, why isn't my iron building up? That's the question. I'm taking something to build it up. I might have started off with 1 capsule. Now I'm up to 4 capsules a day. I'm just using it, but my iron levels are still low. That means something is taking your iron from you to being beneficial to you.
I guess
Remember,
we're supposing that this is a
mhm,
person who is actively testing their
correct.
iron level to be sure that it's low, not just self-diagnosing.
No, no,
Okay.
no. We're talking about somebody that went to the doctor. Let me disclaimer. Let's say you went to the doctor and you got your iron levels tested through a blood analysis. That's what we was working on the first video. You find out where your minerals levels and everything. But one of the things when you got low iron, you want to find out where's your copper level because you need copper to process iron. You need to know that because copper is beneficial to your liver. Then you need to know your vitamin C levels. Are you getting enough vitamin C into your system? Now, um, I talked to a beloved sister. I ain't gonna say her name, but she was having trouble with her iron, and it was really low. One of the things that made her iron low, she was stressed. Her stress levels were so high. No matter what she was taking in at the time, it wasn't benefiting her. So her adrenal glands was so overwhelmed and shocked. What happened? She didn't work to put her adrenal glands back online. And then the other factor that comes in the low iron is you may be dealing with a potential parasite that is taking your nutrients from you, being beneficial to you, and they are developing and spreading out the body. So I will look at getting the liver functioning back in line or in order while I'm trying to take the iron. Now, let me help you out. Give me 1 second. I'm going to show you something by God's mercy, something simple to help you out. Because you talked about intaking B12. You don't want to take vitamin B vitamins isolated. You want to get what is a herbal base or what they call it plant based vitamin. you want to take a multivitamin B complex, not just B12s, because you can take B12 as an isolated. If you're not careful, it can give you a headache. It gives you a little energy, but your energy levels goes down. So give me a moment. I'm gonna try to help you. I'm gonna show you something that you can do. Lord's willing, to help your iron levels. Give me one moment. All right. Okay, so what do I have here? I'm back. What I have here is I'll take it out and I'll put it back. What I have here is beets. This is fresh beets, not no beets out of a can. Fresh beets. You can take fresh beets. I'm out of it, and I apologize, but there's a thing called black strap molasses. Drew, if you hear me saying that, black strap molasses, can you post that? I appreciate it. So you have beets, and there's a thing called black strap molasses. What you do, take the skin off the beets, clean it off, and if you're privy to a blender, put this beets in a cup of water, just one beet in a cup of water, blend it together, and add black strap molasses to it. And what happens is black strap molasses has copper in it. Guess what else it has? It has iron in it. And the beets helps deal with your liver, and it helps provide oxygen to the body. Okay? And over a process of time, it will start to help with iron levels. Yes, I appreciate it, brother. Blackstrap molasses, one of the original states from sugar. The body recognized blackstrap molasses. That's where the old folks in the past, they used to take blackstrap molasses and take a tablespoon of it, or they'll pour it on their pancakes or something like that. But combining blackstrap molasses with a beet will help give you iron. Okay, build up your iron. And then it would be good to eat something like dandelion leaves. Just eat them. A lot of people juice them. I juice them, and I eat them as well. I cook them and eat them as well, or I eat them raw. Eat dandelion leaf, and you want to also take in the herb, if you can find it. It's called nettle leaf. Nettle leaf. Those two herbs, drink it in a tea form, or you can eat the dandelion and take the nettle leaf. And what happens is it will help cleanse that liver to help you process oxygen or your iron effectively. It will help out. And what I was talking about with black seed and honey, that will help as well. So, and beet juice. Is there any other option, preferably in tea form? Okay, that was the tea forms. It will be nettle leaf and dandelion. Put them together. And I'm going to give you one more. I'm going to give you 3 herbs in the tea. Dandelion, nettle leaf, and sarsaparilla root. Dandelion, nettle leaf, and sarsaparilla root. Put them 3 herbs together. Drink as a tea. So the tea, just drink once a day. But the beets and the blackstrap molasses, drink that early in the morning and help benefit you. Correct. The sarsaparilla root is very beneficial. Many people talked about it, how it is the highest form of herb that gives off iron. But I'm giving you 2 or 3 witnesses, which is dandelion, nettle leaf, and sarsaparilla root. And put them together, drink them, be patient, and you should be okay. By God's mercy. Good question. I like that question.
All right. So we have another question here about coconut water. They
Okay.
say coconut water has electrolytes.
Mm-hmm.
I want to add, but be careful of alkaline water. It might throw off the pH in yours. Okay, so she's agreeing with some of what you said, but throwing
Okay.
in coconut water. What's your thought on coconut water?
All right. Now, coconut water. The best way to get coconut water is from the source, where you get it from the tree, crack it, and you drink it right away. That's the best way. But now we're dealing with taking it, processing from one source to another. So the regular people see coconut water in the stores in a can and it's white. Uh-uh. The coconut water that is very beneficial for you if you're not getting it yourself and processing yourself is pink coconut water. And yes, it has electrolytes and it will hydrate your body. I will recommend you're doing the pink color coconut water because over a process of time, it changes from the white stage and it goes into the pink stage. That's the one I would say. What's this?
What do I do if I don't eat most fruits, bananas, oranges, tangerines, mangoes, etc.?
In reference to,
I guess we were talking about how fruits is good for you to balance out your sugars and different things.
right.
What if there's a person that doesn't eat most fruits? What can they do?
Well, the thing is, some people don't eat certain things because they don't like the taste. You understand? So the thing is, if something that you need is beneficial for you, then you have to ask yourself, am I eating for taste or for health? You
Mhm.
understand? So,
And could we do the juicing option in an event?
yeah, you can do a juicing option because it's quicker. It's quicker. But listen closely, everybody. I want you to listen closely. When you just juice fruits by itself, I'm going to explain it this way, and you don't add no water to it, you will spike your sugar levels. I will repeat that. When people, the juice over here, I got a juice over here, and they juice, they're just straight fruits.
Mhm.
Okay. Yes, there's some water in there, but you got to add water to it because that water helps balance out the nutrients that's in it, and it also helps balance out the sugar that's in it. And what happens is people get into these craze. Oh, I'm juicing. Then it goes back to their doctor, and they like, what are you doing? Your sugar levels are out of order. Oh, I just been juicing. And they would say, have you been drinking water? No, I just been juicing.
Ah,
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because now you got to juice a lot more fruit than you
Right.
would actually eat to
Correct.
compensate for a full glass. Especially for those who like to drink a lot, like one of these big, massive cups.
Right.
If you want to fill this up with orange juice and it's just pure juice, maybe you got about 7, 8 oranges just
Right.
to get to half of
Just
this
to
or
get the
something.
one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
correct. The thing
So
is,
proportion is very important.
correct. The thing is, if I can say this in a kind way, to get your health in order, you can't afford to be lazy. You understand? We've become so spoiled. Instead of prepping things or preparing things ourselves, we're so used to somebody else. And I trust you. That's my local supermarket. I trust going there. No, because a lot of people are so busy, they don't take time out to read. As they say in the back in the day, reading is fundamental. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
our orange juice that we're getting from the local stores, if it's pre-packaged and not fresh, you're running the risk of preservatives and additives.
Speaking of fresh,
Okay. I'm listening.
let's see what we got. Let's see what we got in this thing. Fresh.
Okay.
So ingredients: filtered water. That's the first thing.
Uh-huh.
Then we got sugar.
Right.
Then they say freshly squeezed orange juice and or orange juice from concentrate. I'm gonna go with the latter. Is orange juice from concentrate because when I taste this, it doesn't taste anything like when I juiced my orange myself. And
Okay.
actually, I did this specific. I didn't even know we were going to talk about this. I was
Wow.
just doing this myself
Uh-huh.
to compare. So I juiced my orange
Okay.
and I tasted that,
Right.
and I got the fresh and I tasted it.
Uh-huh.
It ain't nothing like it. Because the first
No.
thing, the orange, even if you do peel it, like
Right.
me, sometimes I peel. Look at this here. My mom will be proud of me. This is what I did to my orange.
Okay.
Peeled it, squeezed out the juice, and I ate out all the insides. Hey,
Hmm.
mama. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So yeah. But when you squeeze your orange juice, I don't know
Yes.
if it's a part of the rind of the skin,
Mm-hmm.
but it has a slight little aftertaste. You know
Okay.
that gives you the sense that this is good for me.
Yes.
That slight
I'm glad you're
bitterish,
saying
that
this. This
subtle bitterish kind of taste. You
yes.
get that in this. This is just all sweet, syrupy.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said it had like a little bitterness taste to it.
Yeah.
Yes. Because a lot of people don't understand fruits is bitter and sweet. All
Right.
fruits are bitter and sweet. You're lying, Mark. No, I'm not.
and
Listen.
and some got that extra sourness to it.
Yes, yes. And it's designed that way because the bitterness balance out the sweet.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So, like with lemons, people just want the juice from the lemons. But when you bite into a lemon, you can taste the sweet, but right away you taste some bitterness. You're like, whoa, like whoa. But they balance out each other. Bitter and sweet, they balance out each other.
And that's very obvious when you
Mhm.
taste fruits like grapefruit.
Correct,
It's very
correct.
obvious.
Which is known as a blood pressure regulator.
I see.
Do you
All right.
understand? And certain fruits um counteract certain medications.
Right. Which
You
I was just
understand?
coming to that because I know I've,
Right,
I've seen on my father's medication, if he takes this one, he should not eat grapefruit,
right.
which is because it's the same active ingredients that's going to double the effect, and you don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
So
That is
let me go again with some additional
information.
contents. For those in Jamaica, you know this one very well. So we got the filtered water, we got the sugar, we got the orange juice from concentrate.
Right,
That's just a trick. They say orange juice, freshly squeezed orange juice, and or orange
right.
juice from concentrate. Ain't no natural juice in this. It's all concentrate.
It's all concentrated.
And then they have citric acid. I always wonder about this citric acid business.
That's supposed to be vitamin C, but
And they
that's
put in bracket acidulant.
right. But that is citric acid is made out of starch. So that's a knockoff vitamin C.
And there goes my blood sugar level again with the starch. So I
Right.
have sugar already. Then I'm
Yes,
going to add starch to that, which is going to complicate the sugar problem.
that is correct. And starch is a binder. So it sticks. So that means it takes a longer process for you to break it down to get it out of your body.
And then on top of that, I may be eating a Jamaican patty, which is made
Yes.
from flour. There
Uh-huh.
goes more starch again. Or I
Right.
may be eating a large dish of rice. You know,
All
no
right.
wonder we're compounding our problems.
So you're eating sugar on top of sugar. It's just coming in different forms. So your grains, sugar is a grain. So different forms of grains you eat is sugar. It just converts to sugar. But when you add it with chemicals and a binding agent, it makes the digestive system sluggish. So you can't move that waste out so quickly.
Right. And then we got potassium sorbate
That's
and
man made.
And then we got sodium benzoate to preserve freshness.
You get what I'm saying?
And then we got absorbic acid, which is another form of vitamin C.
Yes. So all of those things, you just looking at the orange on the label, orange juice, that's your presentation. It looks beautiful to buy. But when you look at the ingredients is telling you how you're feeding the body. Now, the acid in the orange juice, if you're not careful, from talking about process, it can damage your liver. Very true.
Mm. And then
Fresh.
this has
Go ahead.
nutritional the nutritional facts.
That's what
It
they say.
has about 2 servings per
Wow.
container.
Okay.
So actually, I'm not supposed to drink all of this at once.
Nope.
Wah, 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 wah.
They're telling you, but remember I said people don't read the information. They're letting you know, don't drink all of that at once.
So actually, this is 8 FL ounces.
Okay.
But so this could basically just fill a regular glass. But at the same time, it's so sweet that the manufacturer is telling you, do not drink this at once unless you intend to have 2 servings.
Right.
That's like you had a glass and then you say, could I have another one, please?
Right.
That's what you have in this box.
And you see some people know that it's too sugary or too acid based. What they do to add water to it to counteract all the sweetness. That's what they'll do.
And this has about 110 calories. So if you're trying to lose weight, and there are people who say, hey, if you want to lose weight, just drink some orange juice. It will help you lose weight. Well, you're packing in 110 calories in addition to whatever vitamin C you're getting.
Right.
Sodium 15 milligrams. Total carbohydrates 28 grams.
But go back one. You said sodium 15.
15 milligrams, mg.
Okay, mg.
Which is about 1% of the container.
Yes. So a form of salt that you need, but you're not getting enough of it. So that acid is going to dry out the living cells. It's going to quench your thirst because now you're
for
drinking
a while.
the sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
So we became addicts to sugar. Because think about it. They feed grains to our animals. That's sugar. This is why, people, like, all I do is eat meat.
So
diabetic.
I'm dumbstruck right now because I'm seeing some stuff. Okay, so we already heard that it has in starch, right?
Yes.
Listen to this now. Total sugars, 24 grams. And it includes 14 more grams of added sugars.
Correct. So it's giving you the sugar base was supposed to be the 100% of the orange juice. That's that content. But then they add sugar as a preservative with other preservatives to be on the shelf. That's what's primarily doing us damage.
Because, and you wonder why we are getting so sick.
Yes, that's correct. So our body is becoming inflamed because of too much acids. Too much. That was good. I like that. So yes. So let me say this. Let me go back to something. I'm gonna give them the exact numbers. It says the question was, how long does it take for your body to make new cells?
Mm-hmm.
And it's within a 7 to 10 year range. 7 to 10 year range. But in the meantime, while the body's going through a process of trying to make new cells, you have to cleanse the cells that you have. That's the key. Meaning you have to maintain it. So you have to constantly do maintenance work on your body's cells while it's going through the process of regenerating new cells. That's what people have to keep in mind. The body naturally generates it. But what do you do in the meantime when you catch a cold or you catch an infection? You have to cleanse it out. So I just want to make sure I say that. Poor memory.
What will you recommend for poor memory?
Okay. Something simple to get and very cheap. A herb called rosemary. Rosemary.
What?
Yes, it's a very good stimulant. By smelling rosemary, it sparks the brain cells.
Those people that really know me,
Uh-huh.
they know I love a rosemary. I even got it for my background. Check this out. Check this out.
Oh yeah. Perfect.
Check that out.
Okay. All right. Now, let me try to give you something else. And it's funny. She asked me a question, and I'm gonna show you a herb that actually deals with memory. You can see this. Ginkgo biloba. Let me push it back some. These are ginkgo leaves. See how they're green and everything, slightly brownish, gives you oxygen. This is very good for energy levels, circulation, and it brings oxygen to the brain. Very well. It's known in Chinese herbal medicine for the brain. But ginkgo biloba works. I'm gonna give you a bonus. All right.
Brother Emmanuel. Brother Emmanuel is back. He says, "What do you think about distilled water? It's written, my speech shall distill as the dew."
Wonderful. Distilled water, yes. Because when you're dealing with heavy metals or you're trying to get toxins out of the body, yes. Listen how I'm talking. When you want to build the body, spring water. So when a person try to cleanse or detox the body, utilize distilled water. Real quick. I'm taught that distilled water is naturally in fruits.
Oh.
Now you understand? It's naturally in fruits. I'm gonna show you an herb that I hope y'all can see this. Let me put it like that. This herb that I have in my hands, if you can see it, this right here is called club moss. Club moss. You know what this herb does? Hold on. Let me give you the right name for this. It's Chinese club moss, not club moss that the Indians use. The Indians use their club moss for a kidney purification. This right here, club moss, Chinese club moss. You know what this does? It detox the brain.
Oh. I see.
Detox the brain. So, you know how people talk about heavy metals and chemicals going to the brain. Remember, glucose goes to the brain. So if you're taking in synthetic glucose or synthetic sugar, it's going where? To the brain. If you're taking in a chemical, it's going to the brain. So this will help with that. This works. Very good. And I just want to give a little bonus. Well, it's a little bonus. Yes, rosemary, ginkgo biloba, ginseng helps with brain function. I'm gonna tell you something else that actually helps with brain function as well. Walnuts. Just eating walnuts feeds the brain. When you Looked at the shape of a walnut and its flat surface. Look at it. Look at the shape of your brain. Walnut looks like the shape of the brain. Keep that in mind. And it deals with parasites. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to help Sister Dawn, because Dawn says I puke just at the thought of even handling fruits.
Oh wow.
That's some strong disliking for fruits.
All right. So
I don't know
this
if does she have allergies. I don't
right.
know. Sister Dawn, I'm gonna recommend that you book a session with Brother Mark one on one. Let's see if he can diagnose your problem and help you out.
Okay. Sound like she had a bad experience. That's funny. But nah,
So Crystal Fuller is asking. I'm asking this question again. Can I cook with olive oil?
yes, you can. The
Yep.
thing is, how long is the duration that you're trying to cook with olive oil? Um, you can cook with olive oil, but not for long extended periods of time. Because what happens is the breakdown of olive oil becomes unstable. But if you're cooking for a short period of time, yes.
You mean
I'll
you
show,
mean you mean the length of time of the cooking process, or
yes.
you mean me using olive oil on a daily basis?
Um, put it this way: cooking in olive oil. Okay, let me talk the way people do what they do. They need to
Mhm.
get a better understanding. See, what happens is people when they cook chicken. Let me use that. They'll cook chicken instead of throwing that oil out because now it becomes unstable. They'll put it in a container and preserve it as they thinking, and they'll reuse that oil and cook again.
Oh, so tomorrow I'm using the same oil I used
Same
yesterday.
oil, yes, yes, and that's becomes ratchet unstable. Now, when
Hmm.
I'm talking about cooking something in the olive oil for a long time, fried this like fried foods. If you're cooking that food in a fried food, it's if you notice the color of it changes because you're putting it in flour or something like that, it becomes unstable quickly. But
Hmm.
if you're going to cook something, quickly and that you're knocking off, that's fine. You
Hmm.
got maybe like 10 pieces of chicken. I'm just using an example. You cook that 10, it's fine. But if you cooking 50 pieces of chicken in that same grease, the latter end of that chicken is going to be cooked in unstable grease or AKA olive oil. So short periods of time, yes.
Hmm.
Long duration cooking that olive oil, no. And definitely don't
Don't
reuse.
reuse.
No,
I,
don't
I
reuse.
and we've been hearing a lot of bad tales about reusing oil over the years, even
Yes.
vegetable oil,
Uh-huh.
which is one of the dangers of eating at fast food restaurants because
Correct.
they open this new bottle of oil on Monday. Don't think they're going to open a new one again on Tuesday.
All
They're going to
right.
be reusing that oil again Tuesday and Wednesday, maybe,
Correct.
and Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
until they get tired of it, they throw it out.
Right.
you know,
It's
and sometimes you go there on a Monday, it's not fresh oil. It's
correct.
oil that was used from the previous week.
And you can smell it. But this
Yeah.
is the thing. They add stuff to it to kill the smell.
Oh,
You
and here we go now with the chemicals.
know? So listen, I'm gonna show you something. You know what else they use to try to preserve the oil
Mm.
and reusing it? They put potatoes in it.
Oh, so the potatoes can pull everything that's bad,
Yes.
and then you're eating those potatoes.
There you go. You understand? So back in the day, they had something called trans fats that was in the oils. That was a chemical, and it's being banned in a lot of areas. Vegetable oil, what I showed you earlier, they're supposed to ban that as well. Now,
Mm.
canola oil is not the original canola oil. They altered that. So I'm gonna show you. You got olive oil, that's fine. Short periods of time. Now, what can I use to cook in for a longer period of time? I'm gonna show you. This is avocado oil.
Oh,
See
okay.
what I'm saying? See, I showed you a fake one. demonstration, but this is what I cook with.
All right then.
Avocado oil. I cook with this, and at times I use olive oil primarily. Like I use both. Sometimes I mix it. Like if I'm steaming my vegetables in a wok, cooking them in a wok.
Hmm.
That's what I would use.
I hear you can just pour some olive oil on your vegetables and have it.
Yes, yes, and eat it in a raw form, or if they steam, pour it on there, and it will benefit your hormones. It will
Hmm.
benefit the brain. All right.
And I
This is
hear it helps with circulation of the blood too.
yes. Now, this is the other thing that's good for you. Since we've been talking about sugar just a little bit, coconut oil.
Coconut. Ah, right. Now that's a favorite. That's a favorite. Here in Jamaica, it's a
All right.
definitely a favorite.
Now listen close. Listen. See this? See what I got in my hand? Think of dementia.
Say what?
People that have third stage diabetes, aka dementia, they can't remember. We was talking about memory.
Mm-hmm.
One
Coconut
tablespoon a
oil.
day of coconut oil helps the brain.
All right then.
Yeah, so definitely, oil is good for you. It's just that when you're eating fried foods so crazy, it's a problem. Ah, all right. Good question. I'm ready. Apple cider vinegar, good to drink. All right, listen close. Listen, I'm gonna help you. I'll help you. Hold on. Where are you at? All right, apple cider vinegar. Look what I'm about to do. I'm turning this. It's something you don't see yet. Do you see it? It's normally on there. I have organic apple cider vinegar, right? USDA, non GMO, projected, verified. There's something missing in here that a lot of people are acquainted with. You know what that is?
Is that the mothers?
Yes.
Ah.
Why don't I have the mothers? The more you learn, the better you can do. The reason why I don't have the mothers in there, which is supposed to be a good form of bacteria in there, because the ones with the mothers, all of them are not the same. And it was just tested recently when they put it under the scope, the vinegar, apple cider vinegar with the mothers in it, they saw worms. You can look this up, y'all. They saw
Hmm.
worms. So I utilize this because I make tinctures. In order to make tinctures with vinegar, it cannot have the mothers in it because it won't fuse correctly. So this is the apple cider vinegar that I use. I used to love the apple cider vinegar with the mothers in it because it was beneficial, but I'm not going to get into some controversy. People buying puppies, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
and things is not the same. You know what I mean? But if you use apple cider vinegar, some people use apple cider vinegar to lower their blood pressure if it's too high. That's a temporary fix, not a mandatory. Temporary fix. They'll put this in their greens to give it that vinegar taste. That's fine. But as of right now, because I learned better, try to get apple cider vinegar with no mothers in it, just to be safe, not to run the potential of digesting worms. Okay, so that's your question.
My brother Mark, God willing, please talk about eating raw foods like
Makes sense.
fruits and herbs versus cooked foods and the
Okay.
effects on the mind, on the awareness, on the clarity and sharpness of the mind.
All right. So, okay. I'm glad you asked the question. Okay. Now, cooked foods. Let's break that down. and I'm gonna help you out. Ain't a such thing as raw foods. I'm gonna pause. I'm showing you why I love this stuff. You ready? All right, let's go to work.
I'm ready. Go ahead,
Let's
man.
go to work. And I'm gonna say it again. It's not a such thing called raw foods.
Mm.
If you understand what I'm about to say,
All right then.
everything that is developed that comes out of the earth is cooked by the first heat. It's called the sun. So when the sun is utilized with water, brings minerals from the earth, it brings compact nutrients to the herbs and the fruit. When it comes out, it is fully cooked. I'm gonna say that again. When it takes root and come out, spring forth, it's fully cooked.
All right
Yeah,
then.
brother.
All right then.
So we are eating food in different stages of being cooked. I'm gonna say that again. We are eating foods in different stages of being cooked. Now you see what
All
I'm
right.
doing? See what I'm
All
doing?
right. All
So
right.
some people eat fruit or herbs in its first cooked stage, coming from the sun. They just clean it off and eat it. Just like Jesus and the disciples was walking in the field and they were hungry and they got corn and ate it. That was the first stage. Get it? You get it? That was the
Yeah.
first stage.
Rubbing their hands together and
Rubbing their
eating.
hands together, right? And they ate
Yeah.
it. That
Yeah.
was the first stage. Oh, there's so much I could go to, but I'm gonna leave the corn alone real quick. So that's the first stage. But then when you chop, you clean it up, you chop it down, and you cook it. That's another stage. Because certain foods you can't receive the full benefits of it unless you cook it. Did you
Mm-hmm.
get that? Did you get that? You
All
got
right.
the first stage, but you have to go to another stage to pull out the beneficial factors of the food. So, for instance, greens. Listen, some people eat greens raw. I won't tell nobody eat kale raw.
Mm.
I tell you to cook kale or juice it because if you eat kale raw for too much of a long period of time, guess what happens? It will start to take away nutrients from the body. See, kale is beneficial and non-beneficial, and it'll start to
Mm.
mess with your thyroid if you keep eating it raw. Now you see what I'm talking about? So when you eating raw foods, or AKA first stage of cooked foods, you are cleansing.
Oh, I see.
Now you get it. Now you get it because
Mm-hmm.
fruits are astringents. It pulls out toxins from the body. This is why Dr. Mars, Yaki, what's my man name? It's another herbalist. They tell you to eat fruits and they tell you to eat herbs, like what the scripture says. Herbs that bear seeds and fruits that bear seeds in Genesis chapter 1, chapter 29. Now, let me correct something or correct something better understand. I said the previous cast, herbs and herbs. Uh-uh. It's herbs that bear seeds and fruits that bear seeds. But in the herbalistic world, fruits is known as herbs.
Okay.
Do you understand? Let me put some things in order. So if somebody don't want to eat no meat, okay, then just know your levels, your nutritional levels, your vitamin levels, your mineral levels. Then you have to get foods that build up good protein, as they call it. Good protein. You got herb protein, fruit protein, and animal protein. Okay. So when you're eating something that's cleansing and that said the body is toxic, it's going to make you think clear or to stay focused. All right. But when you eat foods that are sluggish, you're going to be sluggish. Well, let me put you something key with something. You know, the main thing that gives you clarity to your mind is proper rest. Proper rest. Scripture talks about when you get proper rest, when you wake up, you will have your wits. A lot of today's people, they don't get enough sleep. They're constantly working, constantly working. So when you're something is constantly working, going back and forth like a machine, eventually it's going to break down, and you're going to have to rest at that state in order to be repaired. So the first stage of cooking, known as raw foods, fruits, herbs, that's beneficial for you. But then there's times to cook your food, like green leafy vegetables. A lot of people get salad, but certain green earthy herbs has to be cooked, like greens should be cooked. It'll benefit you. Greens help, collard greens and stuff help cleanse out the brain. Back to focusing, helps cleanse out the brain, and it helps cleanse the liver, just to get better understanding of that. All right.
All right, wonderful. So cooked, as you mentioned, cooked by the sun. I remember going to a
Mm-hmm.
restaurant in Halfway Tree,
Yes.
and there was a burger.
Okay.
I was introduced to this restaurant by a good friend of mine. Her name is Janissa De Shield.
Okay.
She introduced me to this restaurant where nothing is cooked on fire.
Okay.
So they made this burger,
Uh-huh.
and the the crust of the burger
Right.
is made from baked sun baked seeds. She
Mm-hmm.
had like sesame seeds and sunflower seeds and whatnot, mixed it all together, and they put it in a container and put it somewhere where the sun bakes it until the crust becomes hard.
Right.
And can I tell you, after I ate that burger, bro, I felt so free.
Okay.
I
Okay.
felt so light. I mean, when I'm going up and down the stairs, I'm like, man, I feel like an athlete. You know,
Right.
there's nothing bugging you down. And you have no problems going to the bathroom later. Everything just flushed out, and it's just so nice. You know, it's you don't feel sleepy after eating that either. And like you eat some things and it's so heavy on your stomach, you can't stay awake. You feel so heavy, and sometimes you start having these bloating reactions.
Right.
I didn't have none of that, you know. So I haven't been back there in years. I should try them out one of these days and maybe do a video so
Okay.
my my subscribers can see what I'm talking about. It's very
Um,
interesting.
in some countries, um, they're more privy to the sun. It's hot there. They don't put their when they make bread, they don't put it in the oven and bake it.
Hmm.
They will make the structure of the bread through the ingredients that they have, and they'll put a hole into the dirt or the sand, and they'll cover it and let the sun bake it, and they'll come back in a certain period of time and open it, and the bread is baked fresh bread. Yeah,
Hmm.
I agree with that. You're talking about energy.
Yeah, yeah.
Energy. The sun is energy, aka greater light. So it provides energy. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I mean, here in Jamaica, we're in the tropics.
Uh-huh.
And if you park your car in the sun and you don't put up one of those, sunscreen things at the front, and if your
Yeah.
car is not tinted all the way around, I'm
Uh-huh.
telling you, park your car from 11 o'clock in the morning
Right.
and try to go sit in that car at 2 o'clock,
Uh-huh.
you probably pass out.
True.
It's really hot, and this I'm talking every day in Jamaica. It's like this because we're
Okay.
a tropical country. We don't have no snow here, thank the Lord. We don't have no snow and none of that stuff. It's just either it's rainy or it's sunny. It's rainy, it's sunny.
Okay.
Occasionally we have a hurricane passing through. That's about 3 or 4 days, and then it's back to being sunny again.
Wow. All right.
So yeah, we understand the heat of the sun,
Mm-hmm.
and when something is placed there for an extended period of time, it can
Right.
really cook it and put it together nicely. So yeah. Awesome. As usual, Brother Mark, we love to have you here because we know once you come on, it's about to go down. We're about to hear some stuff that we maybe some of it we've heard before, but you go in depth, and some of it we've never heard before. So we are absolutely grateful. Someone is asking another question. Andrea Hines, brother, can you please explain what burdock root does for the body? I don't know if you're
Okay.
familiar with that one.
All right. I'll show you it. All right. See this? I call this the AKA tan carrot. This is burdock root. All right. Burdock root. I would say the people caught on to it after Dr. Sebi put it on the scene. And he talked highly of burdock root that has over 102 trace minerals in it. Okay. Burdock root helps with iron levels. That's another one to help the sister out. Helps with iron levels. But the primary thing I like about burdock root is it cleanses the blood. It cleanses the living cells in your blood. Back to what we started out with. Burdock root is very nutritious in everything. So the thing is, people are so stuck on the dryness of the root. I just showed you a fresh one where you can eat it. Chinese eat it in a salad. They pull the, take the skin off and eat the inner core of the burdock root and eat it in a salad or in a food and everything. Burdock root will keep a lot of symptoms down in your body, if I can put it that way. It helps with your eyes, helps your lymphatic system because it cleanses the blood. It helps your kidneys, it helps your liver, things like that. I definitely would say yes to it. It's very beneficial. See how it looks like a carrot? You get what I'm saying? A tan carrot. Now, there are different parts to it. You got the actual root, which you see to your left, and then you got the flowering. All right. When Dr. Sebi was talking about burdock, he never really said burdock root. He would say burdock because he is pertaining what you see to the far left was the leaves. And the leaves are green, brings oxygen, and it brings chlorophyll, and that will purify the blood very effectively. The thing is that people have to understand is you just don't want to start off hardcore fast with anything. You take it in small portions and then you build your way up. But for a woman, yes, take burdock root. For a man, take burdock root. But try to, if you're privy to it, get it fresh. Like I'm privy to get it fresh, and I'll juice it. Sometimes I'll just chew it or put it in a dish and make soup and stuff like that with it. Burdock root is excellent. It's not the all in all or be all, but it's very excellent. All right. Now I don't want to forget something, and let me explain something. So just as you got different chemicals and things that can come in and damage your living cell, you need to get things into your living cells to repair it, to repair your living cells. One of those things I mentioned earlier was cinnamon, or cinnamon sticks, or you can get Ceylon cinnamon in powder form and stuff. But let me help you out. One of the primary herbs that help with RNA, DNA, or your cells is hyssop or hyssop, mentioned in the scriptures, which is a blood cleanser. It cleanses the blood and it cleanses the cells. Both, listen closely, red or white blood cells. Hyssop or hyssop. Then there's an herb that the Chinese people will use. Let me see if I can find it for you while we're talking. Yeah, I got some. There's an herb called astragalus. All right, that's hyssop. But I have
Why are you getting that one? That's the hyssop that I have on the screen.
Mm-hmm. Now, you see how it is? The color? When they dry it, we mostly see it in like a brownish form because they're going through a drying out
Drying.
process so they can ship it off to you. It's still beneficial to you, whether it's coming in raw form, dried, or in a powder form. Take it. It will cleanse the body very well. Very well. I'm gonna show you something. Um, See this right here? If you can see it, this is a parasite cleansing formula, right? One of the herbs in here is hyssop or hyssop because I'm put it together to not only to deal with cleansing the blood, but also to give structure and benefits your cells. People do cleanses and they don't take it in stages to cleanse the body correctly. And you want to cleanse the body correctly. So I put that in a parasite formula to cleanse the blood, but also to deal with your living cells. So what penetrates that? I'm going to talk about another herb. It's very small. This is the small one. They chopped it down. This is astragalus. Astragalus helps build your B and T cells. They call this immunity herb. Astragalus is very effective. I got it in a small form. Very effective. So you have stuff like broccoli helps your living cells. You have something like echinacea helps your living cells. We already mentioned, asked me about burdock root. That helps your living cells as well. Another thing is garlic. Real garlic helps your living cells. You have green leafy herbs help your living cells. Mushrooms, something like lion's mane, lion's mane, king oysters or king mushrooms. They help your cells. So you got to counteract when you have damaged cells, what they call damage from free radicals or chemicals. You need to eat foods and take in herbs that will benefit your cells, and it will help you out. Stuff like that. So I just want to show you a few things. Go ahead.
We're gonna go, but let me just try to squeeze in one more question here. Brother Mark, what promotes health hair growth? or yeah, healthy hair growth.
Okay. All right. What is hair? Follicles. They also are communication extensions of the body. When you look at your skin in details, you'll see hair if you're privy. What stimulates hair growth? I'll make it simple. Silica. There's a mineral called silica, helps stimulate hair growth. The problem is when the hair follicles becomes acid, two acids. We was dealing with acids. Too much acids damage your hair growth or maintaining of your hair, and stress does it too and make your hair fall out. All right. You have to stimulate proper minerals to feed the hair. So you need something like silica. So there's an herb called horsetail. Horsetail, very beneficial. It has many different benefits, but one of the things, it has silica in it. Helps stimulate hair growth. But this is my thing with growing your hair. You got botanical oil, rosemary. I was talking about how it stimulates memory. That's that other thing that it does, is stimulates hair growth. The thing is, you have to stop using commercial, listen closely, you have to stop using commercial shampoos if you use them, and get a herbal-based shampoo, because the commercial ones damage the hair follicles and it takes away the mineral content that is in the hair, and it brings about damage. So taking things like moringa, let me go back to living cells. Moringa helps your living cells, but moringa helps with vitamins to bring to the body to help reproduce good cells, living cells, and stuff like that. So horsetail is good for you. Let me give you a herb most people never heard of. There's an herb called Solomon seal. Solomon seal. It helps deal with connective tissue. Connective tissue. All right. You can take a herb like that. Now, if you overseas or whatever, and you're privy to real sea moss, put it in your hair, whether you're male or female, and rub it around in your hair, clear up your skin and everything. Real sea moss clears up your skin when you apply it to your skin, not just eating it. But putting sea moss in your hair, those nutrients will help benefit the hair, especially my sisters. They can take the broth of sea moss and put it in their hair, or they can get a product with sea moss. But the thing is, what people have to understand, do not get frustrated if your hair don't grow. If your hair doesn't grow, be happy and love yourself. You understand what I'm saying? But getting stuff like silica in your hair, silica for your body, vitamin B's, a multivitamin B complex, because that still stimulate nerve function. Because sometimes you can have nerve damage, and that's why the hair don't grow. But nettle leaf is good for the hair. Rosemary is good for the hair. Moringa is good for the hair. Sea moss is good for the hair. Eating that, but you can gel it like this. Put it in water and add a little sea salt to it, and let it soak, and it will gel up. And use that broth and put it in a container. Just apply to your hair. I believe I encourage someone to put sea moss in their hair, and I believe the person said that it works for them. It worked for them. A lot of people don't know that. And I think they got products now that they're putting sea moss in the hair product to help a person's hair to grow. So most definitely. But definitely silica. Not one of the good herbs is horsetail. Horsetail. And I almost forgot. What is that? Burdock root. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm what you just said, because I found some products that they are now making with sea moss for hair.
Correct. But
yeah, we're not necessarily saying we promote these specific products. Okay, I'm just letting you know that they are out there.
Right. But years ago, this was years ago. I was in a herbal store. A gentleman came in an herbal store, and he was like, I'm looking for burdock root. I was like, what's that? Burdock. I heard burdock root years ago. Didn't even know I heard about Dr. Sabi or anybody. And he was like, yeah, burdock root is good for your hair. It makes your hair grow. I was like, oh, yeah? Sure enough. It's the minerals. See, it's the loss of mineral content and stress make the hair fall out. But if you can put back the minerals inside of you, listen how I'm doing this. Inside of you, you're feeding the cells, and applied. Be patient, and it will help strengthen the hair. But if it doesn't, don't be mad, because everybody here ain't growing back.
Right.
Get me?
Yeah. Are there any benefits to eating figs?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Yes, it is. I'll show you. Yes, I'm with the figs. All right. I got a big old container of this for $5. It's normally like 8 or 10. $5. Figs can be used as a sweetener substitute.
All right, and it's still natural.
Yes, it's natural, but figs has fiber in it. Okay, it has fiber in it, which can aid in digestion, which is very important. Okay, so people talk about the mitochondria, which is the nucleus of the digestive system. If that breaks down, well, figs helps the body with digestion. Also helps with skin disorders and stuff like that. But Figs are excellent. They're excellent. And you don't need to eat a whole lot of it. You don't. Yes. You see how the mitochondria is structured if you're looking at the screen? The thing is, when the mitochondria is compromised, it has a close association with what we've been talking about, our living cells. You understand? The mitochondria is like the nucleus or brain function of the digestive system. If it's compromised, or if it's broke down, now what leaks into the gut, aka leaky gut, what leaks into the gut is toxic and backed up waste from the colon. So normally, dealing with the mitochondria of the body, they will put good bacteria into the body. So you have something called probiotics, good bacteria. You have probiotics, and then you have postbiotics. And those probiotics helps your living cells to function properly. But eating figs is very good to get. That was the first herb that was or fruit that was mentioned in the scriptures. That's what Adam and Eve took fig leaves to cover themselves. But those actual leaves from the fig helps your body as well. You can make a tea out of it, and it will aid the body in getting oxygen. Anything that's green leafy gives oxygen to the body or oxygen to the blood. Very cleansing.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so very much. We're up on the final break, after which we will have the final comments. All right, greetings again and welcome. Thank you so much for staying with us on this Saturday evening edition. We thank you so very much for those who have been staying in touch with us from the very first program, and you continue to stay. In case you're watching and you have not yet subscribed, hit that subscription button and make sure you hit the notification bell as well, so that whenever we go live again, you will get that notification on your device. Brother Mark, we want to thank you again for sparing the time to come and to share a wealth of your knowledge with us for free. I want to emphasize that, for free. So I want to encourage those who are in the United States, especially those who are a part of, First Church. If you have any further question, you can speak to Brother Mark. If you want to message him, he's on Facebook. Just look for what's your Facebook name again, bro?
I just look for Brother Mark Robinson.
Brother Mark Robinson. Absolutely. Yeah. And stay tuned when we go live in the future. We're going to be streaming live to multiple platforms, so you can follow us on whichever platform you're on. This wealth of knowledge that you have been exposed to, if it is beneficial for you, we ask you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone that you think will also benefit from it as well. And also, I want to let you know, stay in tune, because we're going to be brushing up on our Spanish next week. Okay. We have a session coming up with Sister Antoinette, and it's going to be tying into this whole healthy eating. We're going to be learning to name fruits and vegetables in Spanish. So stay in touch with that. All right, Brother Mark, any final comments before you go?
All right. So the basic core of your cells, and I'll touch lightly of this, the cell division. You have mitosis and mitosis. Mitosis and mitosis. And one makes new cells or building up the cells, and one helps with the structure functioning of the body. Okay. What people need to understand, living cells is what's in your blood, And what you think, what you drink, and what you digest or eat, if you're not careful, it can affect the living cells that's in your blood. And what happens if you're not careful, those things can send signals through your endocrine system and bring a disturbance to your body. So the first temple or the first house that you must take care of is yourself. This earthly house has to be dissolved from unfilthiness of the flesh and spirit. So taking care of yourself, you cannot be lazy. It's okay to prepare your own food. It's okay to prepare your own drinks. If you don't know how to learn, it will keep you out of a lot of trouble. Do you understand? Because we became a microwave generation, and a lot of people do not have patience in preparing their own food. Or you can go to somebody believe in what you believe in dealing with real food, and they'll take their time to prepare your food instead of throwing it in a microwave and then serve it to you, and you're happy because you got your meal in 20 minutes. Sometimes it's good to wait 30 minutes or 35 minutes to receive something that's real, because you're aiding in protecting your body. So protecting yourself is important. You cannot teach anyone unless you understand first and have the ability to explain. So I hope this helped y'all. We can go into more in depth about living cells and how it functions, but you don't want to do things or take in things that will allow your living cells to start working against you. You don't want to fight against your own self. Even the scripture says no man hates his own flesh. You get what I'm saying? So if you love yourself, entreat yourself with things that are good.
Yeah, brush up on them vegetables, brush up on them fruits.
Yep.
And yep, so we're gonna have to help Sister Borland and
yes.
about
We don't speak against eating animal meat. Let me clarify. It's eating it too much.
Right. Scripture says,
he
that striveth for the mastery must be temperate in all things.
All things. And there is a scripture saying eating too much meat can kill you. You find that in Ecclesiasticus. Do you understand? So how do I take that in a sense? It's okay to take a break from eating any form of meat. It's called fasting. You understand? When you fast, you go into the state of ketones, where the body starts breaking down and feeding off itself, and that can help stimulate or beneficial called stem cells. Told you there's a lot of ways we can go into this, but your umbilical cord is the first introduction of stem cells in the body. Okay, there are things that the stem cells generate in the body between the mother and the child when the child's attached to the mother. Okay, these things are beneficial for you, but there are foods that you can eat to stimulate stem cells. You got moringa, you got sea buckthorn berries. Okay, then you have what's the other one? Moringa. Just don't want to forget that moringa. These help stimulate stem cells, because stem cells help protect the body. Perfect. And then you have real chocolate, cacao. Real chocolate stimulates natural.
I think in Jamaica we call it the cocoa plant.
Right. So
yeah, I found your scripture, by the way, Ecclesiasticus 37 verse 30. For excess meats bringeth sickness, and surfating will turn into choler or choler.
Right. That's when it turns into the choler, it's bringing about death. That's what it's saying. So, in I think that same scripture, it talks about knowing how to maintain your diet. And as we were saying before, diet means self-control. So if you don't have self-control, you can become a glutton and overeat and cause more sickness into the body. You don't want to do that. So having self-control, self-discipline in which you digest spiritually and naturally is very important. Yeah, I agree, brother.
Awesome stuff. And with that, that's how we bring the curtains down for another Saturday evening.
Good
I
talk.
know we're gonna have some people that are gonna say, "Brother Andrew, I'm gonna have to watch this in 3 parts. Gonna have to watch the first 40 minutes, the first day, the next 40 minutes." That's all right. Take your time. We prefer to give you the information rather than to hide it from you. And it was necessary to have a lengthy program so we could get out as much information as possible. And we certainly have not gotten everything out. But the Mark, by God's permission, gives himself this kind of thing. And as the weeks roll on, we will have more information for you. So until next time, brothers and sisters, bear all these things in mind. And even those who are not brothers and sisters, meaning we're not members of the church, you're still our brother and sister because we have one Father. And so we encourage you to stick and stay, watch the program, both the spiritual programs that we show and the natural edifying programs that we show. And we will meet again by God's permission next week.
Wonderful.
Until then, peace be unto all.
Peace be, y'all.